Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? All right, before we get started here, I want to make sure everybody can see and hear us okay. I'm WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. I'm here with you. We are coming to you from the WCA3 Plus broadcast studio, and we're going to talk a little bit about this upcoming winter event. We're going to have a little fun here. Going to interact with you guys. First off, I'm just going to double check in the chat that we can see and hear everything. So if you just bear with me here, I'm going to pull up your guys' chat, and we're going to talk a little bit about the weather. So first off, give us a shout out where you are watching from here tonight. Let us know where you're at here this evening, what city you're coming to us from, as we are going to be talking winter weather and cold, the bitter cold that is coming our way, folks. This is, it's not going to be fantastic. All right, so seeing some of your chats here. We got Muhammad in the house and Watsika. Cindy's hanging out. All right, can see and can hear. All right, that's what I like to hear. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna get things going here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect with this winter storm. We've got the potential for a lot of variabilities here, a lot of different things that are going to kind of take place. And here's the cool thing: if you stick around long enough, you can sit with me while I look at the new 0Z model runs, or essentially it's the runs that come out here and show the very latest, okay? So we're going to actually get to that here in a second. So we're going to look at those models together live for the first time. And, we're getting into the short range models that give us a good idea of what to expect. And so if you guys hang around through this stream long enough, we'll dive into those together and check things out. But again, making sure you guys can see us. You can kind of see the layout we got here as we talk about this next winter storm coming in. We kind of started this doing some severe weather stuff a few weeks ago when those severe storms came through. And so we're going to do some more here. I can see your guys' chat. I'll be, coming in and asking you guys if you have any questions, okay, here throughout. But we'll hold off on some of those here as I go through some of the graphics and some of the things first. But once we get that kind of squared away, then we'll get things going here and let you guys ask some questions. And so maybe that will be kind of helpful to some people that are watching out there. Hopefully that is the case for those of you that are tuning in here with us here tonight. All right, guys. Again, just bear with me here. I'm just kind of get a couple things situated. Now, I'll tell you this. What you're seeing on your screen there is something called the Winter Storm Severity Index, and I find it very interesting because it has recently actually just updated. And we're going to get into what that is because you've possibly never heard of it before. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that is because it takes into account some interesting things that you may not, typically think of. And I think it'll be really interesting to kind of talk about what this severe, if you've never heard of the Winter Storm Severity Index, even I can't quite say it right. If you've never heard of it before, I'll kind of explain about what it is. But it's kind of interesting because it doesn't just take into, consider, it doesn't just take into it's not just like snow or something. It's taking in some other variabilities here. So, I know a lot of you are watching on many different platforms here. We appreciate you guys tuning in here with us here tonight. Again, we are broadcasting live. Let's get to it. First off, our Winter Storm Severity Index. This kind of shows a big picture because if some of you are watching from other parts of the country here, this will even be good for you. So this essentially is kind of showing where the worst of the winter storm is going to be. And it is very interesting because it's a large part of the country here that's going to be impacted by this. So let's take a look at it, okay? The Winter Storm Severity Index essentially is taking into account things like population density. Is it a metropolitan area that this winter storm could be going through? And so when you take that into consideration, you may have a different outcome as opposed to snow going through a rural area. So you have a different scale that they use, and it's called, again, the Winter Storm Severity Index. But this gray color is winter weather, just typical winter weather, which look how much of the country is going to be at least that. Then you get over here and you've got a few inconveniences on that sort of yellow color. And then you get disruptions, okay? And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit on this so you guys can see it even better. But if you're watching from other parts of the country here, then you'll be able to kind of see where we've got some of this. And then considerable disruptions. So disruptions to daily life and substantial disruptions. And look at some of the areas, okay? Memphis, all right? Little Rock, in that red area, considerable disruptions. Lexington, Kentucky, but even some of that red starting to creep up into southern Illinois. But I will just make brief mention of this. Look at some of this purple that's showing up in Louisiana, down into Mississippi, from Tupelo, close to Greenville, Monroe. The purple color there, the substantial disruptions. Now, they're going to get a combination of ice down that way and maybe some snow, but it's just a big mess down there because it's going to be a little bit of everything that some of the folks are going to be kind of dealing with. So you've got a lot going on there in terms of the wintry weather. But let's talk a little bit more specific about where we are here locally. And we're going to bring it back up here now because this is actually updated. I actually posted this to my Facebook earlier, and the orange and red was a little bit more to the south, but it's trended a little bit more to the north. So you get up here, and this, I really like this. I think this is actually fitting kind of the forecast pretty good. So basically, you get to Champaign to Springfield. Now you're getting close to the disruptions as that snow moves in, but then that red's starting to creep in to just across our far southern counties, just outside of Effingham maybe. But the Winter Storm Severity Index, if you've never seen it before, I mean, an interesting tool there. It's taking into account blowing snow, ice, wind, and again, but then those other factors of, is it in a metropolitan area, population density, are we talking, major disruptions to daily lives or just a few inconveniences there? So that was kind of the first graphic that I want to show you because it just recently updated. So there you go. All right, folks, again, shout out where you're watching from. I'll give some shout outs to some people here in the chat. Kevin, what a great name. Kevin's watching us over in Monticello. Kelly's down in Martinsville. We've got Matt Toon in the house here with Amber and Diane. Cindy's in Urbana. Tori's in Newman. All right. Got some great stuff. Fantastic. Marge, also in Monticello. Deborah's in Mattoon. So shout out to everybody who is jumping on here and checking things out with us here tonight as we talk our winter storm. Okay. Let's talk cold first. And I know some of you may want to, you're going to want to talk about the snow, and we're going to get there. I promise we will get there. But let's talk this cold here because these are some new warnings and advisories that you've maybe never heard of before. And I say that because they're actually fairly new. The National Weather Service recently switched over from wind chill advisories, right? And I think, what's it called? An extreme wind chill warning, I think is what it was. And now they're called extreme cold warnings and cold weather advisory. So, I mean, it's the same thing, but they've got the new name there. Hey, shout outs here to more people with Kevin. Hey, I know Kevin over there in Danville. Pena, Donna over in Pena, Casey in the house, Effingham, Cooks Mills. Shout out Cooks Mills. Fisher from West over there. Anita Nioga, what's going on? All right. I know a lot of people are going to have some questions here. We're going to get there. Again, save some of your questions here because if you post them in the chat now, it'll be tough for me to simply have to like scroll all the way back through. But I will leave time here for some questions. So if you guys again hang around in the chat or in the chat and in the live stream long enough, we'll get to all that here. I promise you. For now, though, let's talk this cold. Are there schools that are out tomorrow? I think I've heard quite a few schools have closed tomorrow, or they're doing e-learning days, and I'm not surprised because look at these wind chills here tomorrow morning. We're going 20, 25 below zero, but let's just look at the wider view. That is specific to Champaign there, but I'm just going to kind of scroll through this model, and I haven't even set this up, so I don't even know how this is what this model is going to show for this, but it could be even lower. But look at this. So this is, okay, that's 4 a.m. It's 8 below. So I think this is the GFS model. I'd have to double check. So there you go. 18 below, 19. So this model here showing about 18, 19, 20. But look at the Chicago up there, Davenport, 30 below zero. But notice how it's below zero pretty much the entire day. I mean, from the morning, so that's 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Now you're at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. on Friday night. Now you're at 5 a.m. on Saturday morning. Still 10 to 15 below zero. Wind chills through Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, did we get above zero? I don't know. So that's just the wind chills there that you see. But our forecast this kind of whole time has been for about 20 to 25 below zero for most areas. And that's what we're looking at right there. Now, this graphic here, I'm going to have to update because the little bars on it, and maybe I'll just do it live here with you guys because why not? Because you're getting a behind-the-scenes look into this. The little bars here, they're covering up some of the numbers. So I'm literally like fixing this graphic in real time here. And this is going to show what the numbers are going forward because I want to show this to show you that it's not just tomorrow. It is several of the days here going forward. And these are basically the lowest wind chills that I saw on these specific days here. And so, and it talks about the frostbite risk that you could have when it comes to this. Ooh, well, that one's like way low. I'll have to drag that number back up a little bit. I'm literally just creating this graphic right with you guys. You get to kind of watch me manipulate some of this here. So like 16 below, not great. That should technically be a little bit lower, right? 16 is a little bit lower than 15. But look at that, still that cold. And then we got here Tuesdays. I'm going to take the number and bring it up. I believe Tuesday, a little bit better, not much. Now you're looking at 10 below. So these numbers, again, correlate to basically frostbite risk. And you're going to have that when you are outside and exposed to this. I believe Wednesday gets a little bit better. Yeah, we've got 0 for Wednesday, which we're going to put that up still in the high category. But we're in this extreme category when it comes to the day tomorrow. I mean, I didn't even say Saturday, but look at Monday there. And I'm going to explain why Monday may also be. All right, so there we go. So now they're not covered up. I noticed that during my 6 o'clock newscast, and I was like, sometimes the graphics kind of mess up a little bit. So there you go. There's your frostbite risk. All right. Here we go. Frostbite risk, save that. You don't want to deal with that. Frostbite can settle in 15, 20 minutes when it is that cold outside. That's the cold tomorrow morning. Be careful, folks. A lot of schools have closed. Shout out, Alejandra. Is that right? Alejandra? In Mattoon. Says Mattoon won't close if not minus 20. Yeah, I know. Let me see if I can show. I know I've got another wind chill graphic because there is quite a bit of a difference from like Mattoon, Effingham to what Champaign is. And so let's just take a look at this one together. So again, here's your wind chills tomorrow morning. All right, so there we go. And here's what I mean by it. So Champaign's is minus 21 in this model. Watseka's minus 29. But then look at Mattoon, they're minus 14. Look at Effingham, they're minus 8. I mean, that's a 20-degree difference. And so there may be some schools that go, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're gonna still have you come to school. And each district is different. There's not like one uniform policy, so you just don't know what you're going to get. But notice the difference there from Pontiac and Watseka compared to Effingham. Listen, minus 8 still not great, but yeah, I think that's kind of the threshold there is maybe, in that 15 to 20 degree range. I know a lot of schools were kind of going back and forth on what they may see. So there you go. All right, folks, I know you want to talk snow, and we're about to do that. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Let us know if you like this kind of format, doing some of these lives for you. If this is something that you guys enjoy, we'll do more of them. But I've got to know your feedback. And so the only way I know that is by looking at your at the chat here, which again, shout out Kim and Moequa. Again, we're going to have you guys save up some of your questions here for the end, and I'll scroll through and we'll see what we can do to answer as many of your questions as we can. All right, let's talk snow. Here we go. Winter storm watch in effect. Winter storm warning in effect down towards Fayette County right now. Big difference depending upon where you are. I know if you're watching up in Watseka and Gibson City and Clinton and Lincoln and Bloomington and Pontiac, you're saying, what about us? I anticipate you guys probably get issued like a winter weather advisory at some point. And again, depending upon how far north we think some of the heavier stuff is, that winter storm watch could turn into a winter weather advisory for like Vermilion, Champaign, Piatt, Macon. We'll see. I anticipate, Coles, Cumberland, Clark, Effingham, you guys are going to get in that winter storm warning. So there'll probably be like a layer of that pink that will continue, the winter weather advisory, and we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of a general look at what to expect there when it comes to the watches and warnings and advisories and all that. So they've got different criteria, like when they can issue this and kind of the timing and everything. So this is just like the big kind of heads up to things, but this will evolve and things will change. The thing that I think came to light a little bit here in the past 24 hours is the fact that this event may come in a couple different rounds of snow. So we're going with 2 rounds here. And let me kind of explain it. This first round is one that's going to generally bring light snow to the area. And that is going to occur between, say, 10 a.m., 7 p.m. on Saturday. So people asking, okay, when can I go out and, do things? Well, tomorrow's rough just because it's cold. It won't be snowing. If you can bundle up and, you don't have a long way to walk or something, and you need to get out, you can do that tomorrow. Saturday morning, same thing before 10 a.m. because I think the snow should hold off. Maybe get close to, maybe 8, 9 a.m. across our western counties, but generally 10 a.m. to like 7 o'clock. We think that that's going to have relatively low impacts just because of, it's snow. It's not going to be sleet or ice. And let me tell you, if there's one thing that I love. Oh, by the way, make sure you give a follow to all of the various things that I'm on. I always have a trouble trying to figure out. It's right there. Okay. That you can find me on. Please do so. 2 rounds of snow. Okay. Coming our way here. So you got the Saturday one, and then you've got the Sunday one here. Sunday one are going to have some higher impacts. But we think the Saturday one's going to be of low impact because, again, it is all snow. It's not ice. It's not freezing rain. It's not sleet. It is all snow. Love that for us, at least here. Again, I know we may have some people watching from other parts of the country, but here in Central Illinois, this baby is all snow, and I am here for it. Because I don't, a lot of times we're forecasting, all right, where's the rain? Where's the freezing rain? Where's the sleet? And where's the snow? Temperatures cold enough. This is an all snow event for us. That is not the case for those of you maybe down south. Second round on Sunday. We're going with the time frame between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And we think that's when, some 2 to 6 inch amounts of snow are going to become possible. Higher impact event there. Leading to more of those disruptions that we could get. So let's just take a look at this here on the model run for Saturday. Let me just kind of back it up just a little bit. And when you look at our little graphic here, the model here, I'm just going to tell you. So when you see that kind of lighter blue, that's really light snow. In order to get accumulation, you need kind of the next tier of the blue color, and you'll see it as it starts to come in. So you can watch the clock on here, and that's showing 3 a.m. I really think that we're also going to be fighting a little bit of dry air at the onset. And so what happens is you may see stuff falling on radar, or looks like it's falling on radar, but it's not falling to the ground. So that could be the case. So I'm going to go with, again, things maybe starting to ramp up a little bit more, after 8 a.m. And notice some of those darker blues starting to come into the picture here a little bit more. So now you're looking at 11 a.m., noon. I think it's going to be snowing, midday. And notice some of the darker blues closer to Effingham. That's where we're going to have maybe a little bit of chance of that snow starting to accumulate, okay? So there's your snow. There's 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, tapering off, kind of falling apart a little bit. 6 o'clock, and there's a little bit of a lull here. And again, these are almost just flurries at this point, at that 8 and 9 o'clock time frame. Okay, so that's that first little bout of wintry precipitation on Saturday. Late morning, midday, afternoon. Could you throw down an inch? 2 inches maybe south? Not out of the question. Okay? We're going to get to round 2 here in just a moment. In the meantime, let's see who we can shout out in the chat here. Melanie and Mattoon. Dave's in Oakland right now. Hello from Florida, Shannon. Fantastic. In Florida. Who else we got here? I tell you. Oh, thanks. Kelly says, the lives are great. I love it. Love having all the updates, says Karen. Janet enjoys the lives again. Anita. Brittany says hi. So there we go, guys. Kansas. Holly in Kansas. If you like the lives, let us know. Give us the feedback so we know to keep doing these things. Shout out Lori in Pana. Jake's got the barbecue pits going down there in Effingham. Sounds good. I need some barbecue. Bring some of that up here this way. All right, let's talk round 2 now. Round number 2. Dun, dun, dun. So this one is going to impact more, I think, in the late morning hours of Sunday. Now, again, all day Saturday, it's freezing cold. It is just disgusting to be out in the cold. I think that things will go downhill on Sunday late, or I should say maybe even as early morning. We're seeing maybe 6, 7 a.m. that some of that snow could start to fall. But notice on the future track here, there's that darker blue. Okay. And that's what brings the accumulating snow. And there it comes. Doot, doot, doot. Just rocking and rolling across the area through the afternoon. Notice the darker stuff. Kind of I-72, I-74 southward. And that rolls across through Champaign, Mattoon, Effingham. And then by Sunday night, the snow is gone. So let's look at this again. For timing on when you can travel. And hopefully this graphic, I've got a couple different graphics to kind of show you. We'll do this one first. Worst travel timing, okay? So basically where you're going to have the highest impacts here. Listen, when things kind of start getting going Saturday morning, pretty low, you're going to have some snow flying around. Nothing crazy. But, by the afternoon, as we get some light accumulation on Saturday with that round one, you may have some low impacts on the roads, but, we're talking an inch or two. So we've dealt with that a lot. It is central Illinois in the winter. There's that lull overnight. So again, if you've got some late activities Saturday night, those are looking okay. But I would be tucked in and staying home on Sunday if at all possible. And I know some of you going, well, what about church on Sunday? That'll be a close call there as the snow will start to begin there sometime there in the morning. It'll start for our western and southern counties first. But then, you get towards the late morning hours and afternoon, downhill we go with the winter weather and the snow. I've got another graphic that kind of shows this. So let me try to pull that one up too. Kind of the same thing, but it shows kind of the timing. And here, I'll take myself off the screen. So there's a little bit more of the timing of the winter weather that's going to come through. So again, Saturday morning, very low travel impacts. We'll start to ramp it up there again to that low category Saturday afternoon, evening, and we bring it down a little bit there overnight because again, it won't be snowing. It'll be cold, but it won't be snowing. But look at that, just like straight up we go with the impacts hitting there late in the morning. We're up to the medium. By midday and high impacts as the snow will have fallen and have some issues for travel maybe into Sunday evening after several inches may have fell in some parts of central Illinois. So there you go. Let's see here. Josabel, this format phone works when TV doesn't. There you go. Tony wants to know when he can expect exploding trees. That's a little bit. I don't know if we're going to get that here, bud. And an interesting YouTube person put out something about exploding trees up in Minnesota. All right. Who else here? Lori likes the new format. Tom's in Pleasant Plains. Aaron in Charleston. What's up, Derek? Sharon likes the updates as well. Okay. All right. Again, guys, save some of your questions, and we will get to some of those here. Somebody's having a cold beverage in Sedoris. God bless you, sir. All right. Let's get to this snow. I'll tell you this, but I wonder if I should show you guys this here, but I don't know. Well, we'll see how it goes here. But I am going to make a snowfall forecast graphic here tonight. And maybe I'll just do that with you live here. Would you like to see me build out the snow amount graphic? Wouldn't that be interesting? Because you're I got to move everything around and whatnot. I don't know. We'll see, folks. This is what we're thinking, though. Less to the north, more to the south. But again, I've got new model data coming out. We're going to look at the new model data together. We're going to do it together. I'm going to look at it for the first time with you guys. So that'll be kind of cool. Generally, and again, I'm going to build my snowfall graphic essentially kind of off of this. I'm essentially doing this and just plotting numbers on the graphic that you see here, the different tiers. Okay. All along, we've always thought that the southern portion of the area could see the heavier amounts. Okay. Do the new models show that? We're going to take a look at that here in just a few minutes. Generally speaking, though, and again, I'm curious what you guys think about when I show this graphic here, because, I'm a huge proponent of not putting out amounts too far out in advance because they change so much Now, there are others that I'm sure many of you have seen and follow and pop up in your Facebook feed and, 8 days out, talk about amounts and post things. And hey, 1 out of 10 times, maybe that 8-day, 9-day forecast actually comes true. But I got to tell you, it is more than 75% of the time where that 8 or 9-day forecast changes significantly. And you've all seen it before. If you've seen some of those crazy posts and then you go, well, what happened? So you got to be careful about that. It's irresponsible to do it so far out in advance, in my opinion, because listen, the public and people's just basic human kind of, psyche is to look at that as the worst case scenario, but take it as what is going to happen. And so a lot of times people can't kind of, differentiate, hey, okay, this could happen, but will it really? Some people be like, oh my goodness, it's going to snow a foot of snow. So-and-so said so. 9 days out. So you got to be careful about that because people change plans and whatnot. I get having a heads up, hey, you got a storm coming, but amounts can change and evolve so much. I do like using this graphic, though, that kind of talks about, and I use the words everybody, many, a few, 1 or 2. So it gives you an idea of, again, we have to cover like a 25 county area here in central Illinois. And, there's 500 cities out there that people live in here. So we, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that live here in central Illinois. And it's hard to kind of, nail down everything so far out. So I like to use these kind of terms. Everybody, in this case. I think everybody's going to get about at least 2 inches. That's the minimum. I even think, you may get that, all the way up into Ford and Iroquois County. So that's kind of the low end amount here. I think a sweet spot for a lot of people is going to be in that 3 to 5 inch range. But for areas down south, as of right now, 6 to 8 inches is not out of the question for some areas across far southern Illinois, or actually even higher amounts down there. And could there be 1 or 2 of you that exceed that and get 8 inches? I mean, it's possible. It's not out of the question. So we use those general terms to kind of give a broad overview of just how much snow there could be, okay? We're going to make this snowfall graphic here coming up, possibly with you guys watching, but tune in tonight at 10 o'clock, and maybe I'll at least we'll give you a little tease of it, and then hopefully you tune in at 10 for the finishing touches here, but I don't want to give it all away, right? Come on. I do appreciate you guys jumping on here, though. Karen, thank you. Larry says, I hope we get nothing. I hope for no frozen pipes. Yeah, I forgot about the frozen pipes things. Carla, you're welcome. Yeah, that's a good one. Here. Let me see if I can't pull up my little graphic. Here's one for you. I know we're going backwards here, but don't forget about the pipes tonight. Drip the pipes or drip the faucets tonight. Okay, folks. I'm literally texting my wife right now to remind her to drip the faucets. Hold on a second. Drip. There we go. Drip the faucets tonight. Open the cabinet doors. Know where the main water supply is, just in case pipe freezes. You don't want that. Now, again, a lot of people always ask me, well, what's the temperature that you need to be, turning on the faucets there? Well, it varies depending upon your home, how old it is, the pipes you have, there's just so many different things. Are the, pipes on the outside walls? There's a lot of different factors. So saying an exact temperature can be tough because there may be a lower threshold or a higher threshold depending upon, I like to generally say under 10 degrees, if the temperature is in the single digits, definitely below 0. But I mean, pipes can freeze at 20 if the conditions are right. But generally, under 10, single digits, you get that down for air temperature. And again, pipes, they are not affected by what is called wind chill. Only humans and animals are. So, objects that aren't breathing, aren't impacted by wind chill. So you just look at the air temperature for them, right? And tonight's a night because we're going down to about 0. Is that what I've got for the lows? We'll look at that. I'll pull the lows up here in a second. But the other thing that obviously you want to make sure of is to take care of the pets. 25 below 0 wind chills. Bring the pets in. I get this all the time too, so I'm so curious. And feel free to shout out and say what you want to think or whatnot. But pets, 25 below 0, most dogs, 97%, don't like the cold like this. Now, I get it. There may be some breeds out there, they like the cold. They want to be out in that. And listen, if you're a responsible pet owner and your pet, then, you make your own decisions. And that's fine. So, but the general message for the vast majority of people that don't have the rare breed of dog that is cool with 25 below 0, bringing them in, or at least providing them adequate shelter and fresh water because it's going to freeze tonight. And of course, you heard about the salt and their paws and whatnot. So listen, I had a dog for 18 years. 18 years. It's not common to have a dog live for 18 years. And, fortunately, he was an inside dog. But take care of the pets, guys. Take care of the pets. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Shout out, Gloria. All right. Everybody still in the chat over here with us? You're welcome. Karen. All right. I'm just going to look at the low temperatures. Where's my little graphic? Oh, here it is. Take a look at the temperatures here for tomorrow because this is just like, woo. So 0. So the temperature is 0 at 8 a.m. It's like 3 in the peak heating of the day in the afternoon. Peak heating of the day. How about that there, folks? Gotta love it. Kylie says Huskies love the snow. Well, there you go. That there may be that breed that does enjoy that, but man, that is just wild to me. 5 below 0. No, thank you. I'm out. All right, so there's the cold. Now, once again, the impacts that we could see here from this, from a travel standpoint, if you're traveling, and anything along and south of I-70, could be an issue if we get some of those heavier amounts. But this kind of shows the travel impacts on, if you are heading out and doing things, what to expect. So I'm just looking here, folks. I'm trying to see if our new model data is coming in. Oh, it's almost fully in. Dun, 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 dun. So might give it another 10 minutes. And the new model data, some of the 0Z model data for what we call the, interesting. The NAM. I'm just looking at a couple things. I promise I'll share this with you guys here, but I'm going to look at it myself first. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, folks. Get ready here. Again, we have to give it just a little bit longer. So here's what I'm going to do. While we have some time here, again, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty, what's up, guys? Coming to you here from the WC 3 Plus studio. Thanks for joining us. I want to hear from you guys and any questions that you might have. I'm going to pull up the chat here. And let me pull this over so I can see. And I'm going to answer some of your guys' questions. So fire away if you've got some specific questions here. After that, because we're going to take a little time for the new model data to come in, and it's about 10 minutes away from being fully in. And then we'll look at that together, and we'll just kind of talk about what we're seeing. We'll say things are looking a little interesting according to that model. So I'm going to give you some time to ask a few questions, and then we'll get to it here. Braden is asking about Springfield, and I'm thinking, obviously, Springfield, Illinois. I'm not sure because I know there are some people that watch us in Springfield, Missouri, my old stomping grounds in Springfield, Missouri. So let me just get another graphic pulled up here while we wait. A winter storm warning and watch in effect. Springfield, Illinois is going to be kind of on that line of where we could see some snowfall there. That is kind of, I would say it's going to be, like medium impacts for you guys. But again, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 inches of snow, maybe more, depending upon how things kind of play out. Maybe you're up in 5-6 inch range. It's possible. Melody, love the live shows. Got to travel from Champaign to Indy and back on Saturday. Are they also getting mild snow? And what about the winds? Oh yeah, I didn't talk a ton about the wind, but let me pull up what happened to my. Oh yeah, here we go. What happened to my snowfall? So I wanted to talk about the snowfall ratios here. Because it does look like this is going to be a dry, powdery snow. Great for sledding. Easy to shovel. It's good news there. It's not going to be that heavy, wet stuff. Because of the cold, it will be a tougher kind of snow to get out there and it won't be as tough of a snow to get out there and shovel. But it will be light. So the ratios are going. So the normal snow ratios are like 10 or 12 to 1 around our area. This one's going to be like 15 to 20 to 1, which basically means it's drier, it's powderier, it kind of stacks up a little bit better. It doesn't compact as much as what wet snow does. So that does lead to the potential for blowing, drifting snow. And so there may be some of that where the higher amounts occur. That is a possibility. Now, the winds aren't terribly strong there late Sunday night into Monday, but there may be some wind, and with just how powdery it is, it won't take much to kind of blow that snow around. So yeah, if you're traveling to Indy, man, and we can just look at this just by looking. Let's see where they land on the winter storm severity index map. And we'll zoom in. Let the graphic update here. So yeah, they're kind of on the edge there as well of having those disruptions, as we call it. So good question there. All right, next up, Southern Vermilion County, Michelle, same thing. You're probably, we're looking at maybe that, 3 to 6 inch range of snow. Freezing drizzle. I don't see any of that really being the case here. It's too cold. Temperatures, I think we're gonna be too cold. So, what factors go into the snowfall forecast? Well, wow, a ton. Snowfall forecasting is difficult. The other local weather guys are saying 8 to 12. Ooh, I would love to know who. 8 to 12. Putting out 8 to 12, huh? All right. Yeah, we'll see. Is Martinsville just snow, or are we looking at freezing rain? So Martinsville, now you're starting to get down there to the south a little bit more. And as I just kind of peruse at things here, you guys are going to, on Sunday, I think you're still snow there. That freezing rain, or maybe some of that sleet, is just, may clip kind of far southern Illinois, maybe more down towards kind of Marion, Carbondale, even south of that, is what I'm kind of seeing. While the snow situation is happening, is the wind going to be a factor with white out conditions? I'm just going to take a glance at winds here. It's a little windy. Yeah. It's a little breezy. Yeah, I mean, as I look at things, I mean, the wind could whip it around pretty good. So on Sunday, I won't rule it out. I mean, I'm looking at some maybe wind gusts there over 20 miles an hour. So yeah, I won't rule that out there with some of the winds. Any chance of power outages? I mean, usually not the case with snow. You can have outages because of just how cold it is. I mean, that's actually more of a thing. Since it's not a heavy, wet snow and it's not ice, usually not a thing. Valerie is in Roberts, and Brenda is watching in Paris. Matthew, more worried about Texas and Mississippi. Yeah, they're going to get some weather down that way. Let's take a look at things here. I mean, look at Texas. I mean, look at Mississippi in the substantial. They're going to get ice down that way. And we can dive into some of that and some of the models here in a bit. Deb's in Mattoon, North Urbana, one road over. All right. Why are the models so different? Oh, man, we could do a whole show on that. Yeah, Saturday will be cold. Michael likes the hour-by-hour forecast and travel timing. Yeah, Danville, again, same thing. Oh, our guys down the street, huh? 8 to 12. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, listen, the 5 to 8, along I-70 is definitely not out of the question. I mean, I don't hate that. Charleston's now in the high range. How much are we thinking? Yeah, we'll get to more specifics on some of the amounts here kind of coming up. Yeah, Crawford County, you guys, I think you'll be in the thick of it down there. Louisville in the house. Humboldt. Is Atwood expecting much snow tomorrow? No, you're not going to get any snow tomorrow, actually, there, Lauren. We're not forecasting snow for Friday. We're forecasting cold. It may be cold enough that you just look like you're seeing snowflakes out there. Georgetown in the house. Appreciate you guys there, Michelle. And Green Up, Roger, just hopping in here in the chat. Again, I'm WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks for joining us here. New thing we're kind of doing some of these lives when we can, little updates to talk to you guys, interact with you, go a little bit more in depth on things. And, you may see us do this during severe weather sometimes. We did it a few weeks ago. So if you saw us there, we had some fun with that. But yeah, providing just another way to keep you guys updated on the weather when it comes through the area. All right, let me see if these models are fully in yet. All right, it's like just a few minutes away. And again, sorry, I'm sneaking a peek. So I can let you guys know what to expect. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, let's hold on to the snow a little bit later into Sunday night, maybe. Again, guys, we're going to show you the snow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness. So this model has always been kind of high on things, so I will take it with a grain of salt. But again, I'm going to do this for you guys just because you're here with us, all right? Because there are still some interesting numbers in regards to the model differences, and we'll get to that here. But I've only got a couple models that are in long enough from a timing standpoint that get us through the kind of first part of the storm. So hang out here as I'm just clicking through a couple things. All right. Who's ready to look at some of the weather models here with me? You want to look at some of them with me? Again, thanks for joining us. Let's Let's get to it. Let's see how I can pull this up. All right. How do I? Let's see if I can't adjust a couple of things here. All right. Here we go. Okay, guys. We're gonna look at. Oops, sorry about that. We're gonna look at a couple of things here. So, the first thing we're going to look at is a model that's called I call it the HRRR. It's known as HRRRR. Okay. And this is a short-term model that goes out 48 hours on the 0Z and 12Z kind of runs. Actually, the 6 and 18 too. But we can go out 48 hours. So that's only going to get us to Saturday, 6, 7 o'clock. Okay. So here we go. All of these are obviously labels for airports. So CMI is Champaign, TIP is Rantoul, DC, Decatur, TAZ, Taylorville, so on and so forth, SPI, Springfield. So you kind of get the idea. IH2, or I'm sorry, 1H2 is actually Effingham, just for your reference. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Just let me know if you can't. We're just looking at basically the reflectivity of what the radar could potentially look like. And I know you don't have timestamps that you can't see, so I'll just kind of tell you what they are. But that right there is Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And notice some of that snow coming. Again, remember how I said like the light blue colors, not really heavy. You know, you get into those kind of darker blues. So that's 10 a.m. And that's when we kind of thought that, you know, mid-morning, some of that snow may start to move in. Here it comes. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, look at that darker stuff starting to come. But notice the northern edge of this. Okay. Not seeing much up near Bloomington, Pontiac, Watseka. And maybe that heavier stuff is a little bit closer to, Taylorville, maybe even Clipping, Mattoon, Charleston, Effingham. So this is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So here's your snow coming through. And then it kind of starts to taper off. But again, keep in mind, now we're only at 6 o'clock on Saturday. That's the furthest this model goes out. So this one is a high-res model that we can use right before storms come in. And it updates actually every hour. And so it's good. So this right now this is just a high-res model so I can see, okay, the timing, we're still looking late morning Saturday, and then into Saturday afternoon, and then lingering some of the snow there still through Saturday evening, but maybe some of the heavier stuff still down south. Okay. I want to go back and show you a model called the GFS model. This is the Global Forecast System model, or the American model, and how it shows the snowfall evolving here. And boy, this one is actually even, the GFS here the whole time has always been a little bit less, actually been quite a bit less. So it wants to bring some of that stuff there in on Sunday. But notice the dark blues. Again, the dark blues, that's where the heavy snow is. So this model, quite a bit different than the other models. This one shows the low end amount expected from some of the snow there. So that's Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, and then clearing out. Way less. Oh, and I forgot. I'm sorry. I do want to come back here and show you on that high-res model how much snow through 6 o'clock. So according to the model here, and I look at something called positive snow depth. I really like using that a lot because it does a good job of showing actually how much snow that you may have that accumulates. So I'm looking at a couple things here, but generally speaking, 1/2 inch to 1 inch there kind of happening through 6 o'clock Saturday, maybe some slightly higher amounts there to the south. So that's your model there for that high-res one. I want to come back over here and we'll show you the GFS model. So this one the whole time has been the low-end, the low-tier model when it comes to the snowfall. Now, again, these models vary. One model says one thing, one model says another. The reason why so many of us, go, oh, what's it going to be? Well, you do have one of the, trusted models of GFS, definitely painting a less snowy picture. But again, this model will update later tonight. So this one's actually going to be coming on like 5 hours old now. So we want the new update to come out here, and it'll start going to like 10:30, I think. So this one's been on the lower end of things, right? But I know those of you want to see the higher end, right? Show me the high-end models. Well, let's come back over here. We're going to change this. And then, all right, let's bring this puppy in here for Saturday. So here we go. This is the European model. 9 a.m. Saturday, 12 p.m. Uh, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. And notice again, you got the light blues there as opposed to maybe the darker blues. Okay. And this model, again, makes it look like it might be snowing a lot, more to the north. But notice, again, as we get into Sunday, look at some of those blue colors there. Those darker blues. That's your heavy stuff. Look at far southern Illinois. That's your heavy stuff there. Okay. So what does that equivalent to? Are you ready? Are you ready, folks? For you snow lovers, what does this one want to tell us? Ooh, getting a little bit more here. Now, I do like the European here a little bit better. I think it's doing a pretty good job. And I'm probably going to base a lot of my forecast potentially close to one of these guys here. Look at Effingham. Look at that purple color. I mean, it kind of clips Effingham County, corner of Cumberland County, Clark County there, 7+ inches down that way. You get up here towards Decatur. In Champaign, maybe you're in the 4 or 5, inch range there. But again, there are some different settings that you have to look at here that kind of inflate the numbers a bit. You got to be kind of careful. So you look at that. You're going, whoa, a foot of snow there. So you got to be careful about that. So that is the European model. So we showed you the GFS a little bit less. European, sitting okay. But the new model that just came in, let's take a glance at that one. And it is known as the NAM 3K. Actually, we're going to do the 12. All right. So here we go. Oop. We want that one. All right. So timing once again. And generally speaking, I like the timing of it. This is 6 a.m. on Saturday. And again, let me know if you guys are still with me here. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of babbling and doing my thing. But if you guys are still watching, let me know. Shout out in the chat. Here comes the snow. That is 9 a.m. And again, I'm thinking, 9, 10 a.m., things start to get going a little bit. We'll keep an eye on the darker snows, or the darker colors, which is the heavier snow. Look at that across far southern Illinois, Missouri. Ooh, down there into western Kentucky, they're going to be getting some snow there. So that's pretty decent. They're kind of south of I-74, Shelbyville, Mattoon, over towards Casey, Neoga areas. So that rolls through. And then notice the darker blues taper off. You get into these lighter blues. So now you're 9 o'clock on Saturday as things begin to calm down. Okay. And these are just almost like just flurries at this point. Again, this is your intense stuff. The dark blue, that's where you're putting down accumulation. Get into these lighter blues that night, really tapering off, just some light spitting kind of snow. So that's that first round. Here comes the second round, though. Early Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Ooh, baby. Look at some of the colors here that are doing their things. Dark blue there. From about Champaign, Danville, Decatur, Springfield southward. Now you're talking some pretty heavy snow and really cranking Vandalia, Effingham area. But then look at that little pinkish color, far southern Illinois. Now that's not going to be in our area, not in our coverage area, but right there along the old Ohio River and the Mississippi, you're going to get maybe some sleet and some ice mixed in down that way. And I'll just show you this. I'm going to switch the view from Illinois to Kentucky and Tennessee because I just think, oh, what a mess. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. I am telling you right now, if there is one thing that I am absolutely glad, it is the fact that I'm not forecasting in Lexington, Kentucky anymore. I used to work in Lexington, Kentucky, did weather there for a few years. What a nightmare forecast. You've got rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow, maybe all within your same area there, and like evolving and changing. I cannot imagine. Oh, look at that. I'm just kind of going back through. And again, if you got people that live in Tennessee, Kentucky there, man, good luck. And that's why there are going to be some high impacts there because they could have ice, they could have snow, they could have all of it there, but that's just kind of a look at how that storm's going to evolve for them. Okay, I'll bring you back here to Illinois. So here we go. Let's bring you back. We had the Saturday late morning round. Here comes your round for essentially Saturday night, early Sunday. And then that kicks through, and then we get that round for Sunday. And you're going to have, what's up, man?
What's going on? I heard you going on up here. I didn't know if you needed some water or something, so I brought him a bottle of water.
My guy got me some water up here. Appreciate it. I'm almost out of this one here.
I was trying to pay attention to figure out what I'm going to ask you coming up at 10.
Coming up at 10?
Yeah, I like the Her model you were talking about.
The Her model? Yeah, the Her model is doing its thing, and I'm just showing him the other one here that's interesting. You want to watch here? You want to watch this? Here, yeah. I'll bring it back here. Here you go, because they're getting ready to do the big reveal of what this model wants to say in terms of snowfall. So here we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so then that snow continues there through Sunday afternoon. That's 3 o'clock. And then it tapers off. That's 6 p.m. And then, again, back to that lighter kind of stuff. Flurries and out of here. So what does that equate to in terms of snowfall? All right, snow lovers, if you want to believe this model, this one's the one for you. Look at that. That's a foot of snow. Now again, let me just say I'm not officially forecasting a foot of snow. I'm not gonna go that far, but I'll tell you, I will look at the 0Z model runs of what is known as the GFS and the European and take a glance at it. Now this again is the NAM 12K. All right. So we can't look at one model run. So what I'm doing is I want to do some education with you guys on this here. So I'll show you what this, so this model has been this whole time really bullish on the snow. Okay. But I'll go back just a little bit. So this was, some previous runs there, and notice, it was much lower. It had that heavier, but the new run that just came in is going nuts on the snow. We can't go by any one model run or one single model, but we take all of them into consideration. NAM 12K, might be overdoing it a tad bit, but I think it does tell us something, though, that, that northward trend continues, and maybe that, that Saturday system, the Saturday round could still bring some decent snow there. And then the Sunday one could also be prolific with the snow. That's that model there. So this is what makes it super difficult. I showed you the GFS model, really low, okay? The European, kind of in the middle, and then kind of these NAM products that are a little bit more, obviously. And so it is our job to try to kind of come up with how things are going to be. I will tell you this. There's another one. This one's called the NAM 3K, but this one only goes out 60 hours, and I'll just show it to you. But it does a good job, I think, of delivering the Saturday round of snow. So here we go. Saturday. These are accumulations. This is 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., or 12 p.m. Why do I keep doing that? 12 p.m., 1 p.m. it's snowing, but now you got an inch of snow on the ground. 5, 6 p.m. there. A couple inches. So I think that does a pretty good job of that kind of first round kind of coming through. It's that second round, though. This whole time we have talked about, that second round being the one. Okay. So what can we do? What can we do here, about this? Well, we got to kind of wait just a little bit. We're still in that, what are we, 48 hours. Actually, we're more like 60 hours from like that second band or that second round of snow. It's going to come in there on Sunday. So yes, we'll see what the 0Z model runs do for the GFS and European. Again, the models come out at different times. Not sure why one's at one time, one's at another. I've never really understood that. But some of them come out earlier, so we can look at the NAMs earlier. And then the GFSs are like coming out during the 10 o'clock newscast sometimes. And the European doesn't come out until later tonight. So we have to look at those and see what they're doing. I can look at some other ones here just for giggles. I think this one's been kind of high too. Sorry here. Yeah, so this is the Canadian model. So again, very similar. That Saturday round, there you go. That's the thing. It's been very consistent with this Saturday round, bringing an inch or two of snow, but then you get into the Sunday, then you're ramping it up a little bit more. So listen, are we going to be up towards 6-7 inches in some areas? I do. I think that definitely could be the case here. A foot. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I'm there yet, folks. If you've got some questions, I have a little bit of time to answer a few things. I'll show you guys a couple other things before we hop off here, because I'm going to have to do a couple things here before the show. I will show you one thing that is updated and see what you guys think. And actually, I don't know if I can show you that or not. Yeah, I can show you that. Hold on here. Let me see. I know there's a way to do it. How do I do it? Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. So can I make this any bigger so you guys can see? All right. Bear with me here. We're going to make this bigger. Right. All right. Just make that bigger so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right. So here's your graphic for, and these are great graphics that the Weather Service puts out. And I really like it. Percent chance of 0.1 inches of snow or more. I don't know how these aren't all 100%. I mean, we're going to get snow. Some are 99%. I mean, just go for it all. So this will be interesting. 0.1 inches of snow, 99%. 1 inch of snow or more, 94% and greater for our area. 2 inches of snow, 90%. You start to get up into northern Fort Iroquois. Now you're getting into, 70% area. That's why I said everybody, 2 inches of snow. Let's move along to 4 inches of snow. Now we're at 68%. Look at Effingham, 84% chance. And again, these are all from the Weather Service. They're kind of prediction models there. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff, right? Now we're at 4 inches. So anything that's, at 50%, you got to kind of be careful with, because what? It's like a flip of a coin. It could happen, but it's just as likely for it to not happen. 6 inches of snow. Now we're in that 44% range. Champaign, Danville, Decatur, Springfield. So a little bit less likely to happen. So that means, generally you're looking at maybe that area sitting in that sweet spot of, 4 to 6 inches, you'd say, right? Or 3 to 6 or whatever we decide to go with. You guys want to go to 8? Want to go to 8 inches? We'll see. Probably. Listen, Effingham. Look at Effingham down there. You're sitting good at 65% or bad, depending upon how you look at it, right? Here comes 8. 8 inches of snow. Look at the numbers. Now they're going down. Now you're at 44% in Effingham. Now you're at 26% in Champaign. So the 8-inch amount, maybe not as likely. Possible. But look at that. And this is how you can really kind of gauge that area where you're going to have the best chance for the higher snow amounts. Those darker blues, basically you run it from Litchfield to, Mattoon, Paris, southward, and then definitely Effingham southward. I mean, look at St. Louis has got a 50% chance. Only Vincennes, they're looking pretty good. How about, you want to do 12 inches for fun? We'll do 12 inches for fun. 12 inches. Okay, now we're down to 5%. I'm actually kind of surprised it's that low, to be honest with you, because you never know with these things. And 18 inches, and it just falls off the map. So we're not getting 18 inches. That you can be sure of. There you go. Probabilities, 12, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1.1. Just go 100%. So an interesting little graphic there the Weather Service uses and puts out to help kind of tell. So you generally like to sit in that 50% area for confidence, obviously, to have snowfall amounts of that much. And so you can see we're sitting in the 4 to 8 inch range. I'm liking the 4 to 8 inch range there for a lot of our area, majority of our area. And that's probably when I'm going to make the forecast. Is it really 9 o'clock? Oh my goodness, 9 o'clock. Okay, folks. Due to time constraints, here, I'll show you this here. Here's I'm going to zoom in to the updated winter storm severity index graphic. You can look at some of that red that's starting to come in down there, just south of Effingham, southern Indiana, Illinois. And again, they're going to get some more ice down that way, so that's kind of a little bit more of an issue for them. And I know I had a few people that were asking about some other areas and ice. There's another way for me to actually show this. If you hang with me here, I will do my best to hit on where the ice is going to be, I think. Hopefully. I don't know if I can do it or not. Let me see. I thought there was like a breakdown of doing. Oh, yeah, there is. Okay, here we go. Blowing snow and ice. I'm going to just do, I think, ice. Sorry, guys. I'm doing this on the fly. I'm trying to get it to where I can just show what the ice is going to be like. Okay. All right. Well, it's not going to be as pretty as the other one, but I'll show it to you anyways. So this is just ice accumulation. And you can see that, here we go. That's pretty good. Let's show it a little better. close to Memphis, but they're into Louisiana and Mississippi. They're forecasting extreme impacts, substantial disruptions, and this is just the ice graphic. So that's why you don't see anything up in Illinois and Indiana, because this is just talking about ice. So this is where ice is going to be. Texas, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee. Then it looks like the Carolinas could be dealing with some of that. So just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, guys, I cannot believe that it's already past 9 o'clock. I have several things that I need to do to get ready for the show. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave a bit last time for some questions here with you guys. And we will have to wrap things up. I'm sorry. But we will come back to you in the coming days and keep you up to date on things. But if you've got some questions, let me know. I just roll back through. Blackhawks beat the Hurricanes. All right. Love to see it. Go Hawks. Deb, just be prepared for anything. I mean, yeah, sure. That's usually how I like to live my life as well. You never know. Ooh, thunder snow. I don't think thunder snow. Never say never, though. Wind with this system, I mean, there's going to be some gusts out there. It's not going to be like 50-mile-an-hour winds, but, there might be some 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Okay, guys. Wrapping things up for those of you that have hung around through the live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Give me a shout out. Let me know. Yeah, there's probably going to be a ton of flights probably canceled and things like that. I think more on Sunday than Saturday, but that could definitely be a thing. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, you're going to have to tune in to the 10 o'clock newscast for the snow graphic that I'm going to have to go make. I appreciate you guys hopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed, the little insight into this, a little bit long form, being able to talk and show things and whatnot. I know many of you are watching from various locations here tonight. Appreciate you guys popping in. Again, my name is Kevin Lighty. I'm the Chief Meteorologist here at WCIA. I encourage you guys to, again, if you haven't already, wherever you're watching me from, it's fantastic and I love it. But you can also follow me on a bunch of different things here. There's my email, klighty@wca.com. If you want to send an email over. Of course, Facebook, TV Weatherman. I don't know how I got that handled, by the way. Instagram and all those good things. Give us a follow. Stay up to date with us and connect with us here. I'm about to wrap things up. Go to the chat one more time. Thank you, chat. Thanks for coming here with us. And hope you guys get through the weekend okay. Stay warm. You don't have pipes bursting. You don't have any, travel issues. Maybe you can stay home. I don't know. But do what you can. Just keep the family safe. And pop back in on the newscast here coming up in a little bit. And at 10 o'clock, I'm going to effort a snowfall forecast map. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's always interesting to try to put one of those together with a extreme system like this. But got my work cut out for me, so I'm going to go work on that here. And thanks, guys. Appreciate you jumping in here as we came to you here live, doing a little fun live stream talking about the weather. And again, if you guys continue to enjoy and like these, we can continue to do them for you here. But you got to hit the like button so we know, so you get the notifications and can come and join us on the next one, because we're hoping to do this when there's severe weather and all that. So definitely come back and see us here. For now, I got to go work. I got to do, well, not that I haven't been working. I got to go do some more work downstairs in the studio there. So, which again, here, I'll give you guys, this will be kind of fun. A little behind the scenes look into the studio before we head back down that way. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We will catch you guys here on the 10 o'clock newscast. Back with you again tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. See you again soon. See you.